maybe I can actually clear my skin. It got worse before it got better, and on Accutane for about a year. So from summer 2017 to summer 2018, I was on Accutane, and I'll insert pictures kind of throughout my journey how my skin looked. There are remedies out there, you just have to find the one that works for you. I just want to say, Accutane changed my life. This is why I'm making this video. Having acne growing up, I went through a whole journey with it. I felt all of the types of feelings, and I'm going to go through that with you today. I'm going to talk about my background, my experience with acne, and then I kind of just want to talk to you about the different ways I tried to get clear skin and how I ended up taking Accutane. How was it? What products did I use to make it bearable? So if you want to know anything about my journey and how I cleared my skin, just keep watching. Let's just start this video by letting you guys know when I figured out that I had acne, when someone else pointed it out to me. So pretty much what happened was I was in elementary school, I think grade 3 or 4, drawing pictures of each other. So at the end, we both show our pictures, and I realized that mine had spots all over my face. So I was pretty much taken aback and was like, what are those? And he goes, well, those are your zits. And as much as I hate that word, that's what he said. I was definitely insecure about it that day going forward. So acne for me kind of started in elementary school, which is crazy to think about. But anyways, moving on to high school. I didn't enjoy high school. To make it worse, I was comparing myself to my friends constantly. My friends are beautiful. My friends have amazing skin. And so I was always comparing my skin to their skin. You know, they would have one pimple and they would freak out, and that would make me feel really, really bad. But that's no one's fault other than mine, because I was comparing myself to everyone who had nice skin. It was really difficult not to compare myself, and I think that's what made it a lot worse. So at one point I'd had enough of feeling the way that I felt because I've had acne. So I went to my family doctor. So we started off with a prescription for antibiotics that I did. I ran the whole course and it actually worked really well. So once I finished them, that's when my acne came back. And that was frustrating because I finally felt normal. I finally felt as though my clear skin made me happy. Little did I know this was the beginning of a long journey. After trying antibiotics, we tried cream. Creams never really did anything for me. And so once we kind of tried everything, my family doctor recommended Accutane. At the time, I already knew what Accutane was because my brother had been on Accutane, and although it worked really, really well for him, he didn't enjoy his experience. The side effects were a lot for him, and so it kind of scared me away. I also knew that Accutane potentially have harsh side effects on your mental health, not something that I wanted to risk. So unfortunately, I passed on the Accutane. I said no to my family doctor and kind of just accepted my skin the way it was. So I accepted my acne, I accepted that this was the way I was, and I kind of just went about my life. A couple years later, I moved to a new city, ended up getting sick at some point, went to a walk-in clinic, saw a doctor, talked about, you know, how I was feeling, whatever. And then at the end, he's like, all right, Marie, let's talk about your skin. My skin? Oh, it's okay. I've tried everything. Nothing works. And he pretty much looked at me in the eyes and gave me a lecture on how I shouldn't accept my skin. I shouldn't accept something that upsets me. I should be working towards a better ending. So he recommended a dermatologist that he referred me to. And then I had an appointment with that dermatologist about 3 months after. So at first I walk into this dermatologist's office and it's really nice. You know, I'm downtown Toronto. I'm like, this is going to be amazing. I've never seen a dermatologist before. Maybe this is it. Maybe I can actually clear my skin. I meet the dermatologist. He is a grumpy old man who doesn't seem like he really cares about his job anymore. Maybe he likes his job, but maybe he doesn't really know how to interact with his patients, because I definitely didn't think that he cared or gave a crap about me or my skin. So he diagnosed me with rosacea and said that he would never prescribe me Accutane because of the fact that it would flare up my rosacea and make it worse. So the only thing he was recommending me was to do thousands of dollars worth of laser treatments for my rosacea, or he would prescribe me antibiotics to get rid of my acne without aggravating my rosacea. I ended up explaining to him that I've been on antibiotics before and they would work until I stopped them. He said to do the full course of antibiotics, and once that's finished, to take a dose every couple days and just keep it up so that my skin stays clear. So that's exactly what I did. I did the full course of antibiotics and then just kept taking it until I had enough. And antibiotics can be bad for your gut, they can be bad for your health. So taking it for a prolonged amount of time, and it was pretty much an amount of time that I didn't even know how long I would be taking them because there was no end. If I wanted clear skin, I had to take the antibiotics. If I stopped, my acne would come back. And at one point I had just had enough. I figured, you know what? It's not healthy for me to stay on these antibiotics. It is what it is. I started changing my diet. I did dairy-free. I did really vegetarian, vegan, I guess, because I was dairy-free as well. And I did that for 6 months and no help. So that didn't help either. So I knew the natural way didn't work. At least changing my diet didn't work. And that antibiotics were just not going to work for me. So a year later, I went back home from university and I went to see my family doctor one more time and was like, girl, I am ready. I'm not taking no for an answer. I need Accutane and I need it now because I am not settling for this and I'm getting clear skin. So she was like, you got it. So I pretty much was prescribed Accutane, and because of my whole rosacea deal, she started me on a very small dose and I built my way up so that it wouldn't flare up my rosacea and it wouldn't make my skin, react all sorts of crazy ways. So I did a slow build up and I was on Accutane for about a year. So from summer 2017 to summer 2018, I was on Accutane, and I'll insert pictures kind of throughout my journey, how my skin looked, so you know how things were progressing. But I definitely want to say that it got worse before it got better. And I would say that my skin only got better probably a month before I finished my course of Accutane. It was really frustrating because I kept asking myself, is it worth it? Accutane comes with a lot of side effects that are not fun and are difficult on the body. I was constantly asking myself, is it worth it to do this to my body if it's not even going to help my skin? Because at that point, it was just getting worse. Once I finished, I definitely saw results, as you can see, but I still occasionally get pimples. They're not under the skin and sore anymore. They're more on the surface and little whiteheads. So it's a lot better than what it was, and I'm very grateful for that, but by no means do I have perfect skin. I have a lot of acne scars, which adds texture to my skin, and then I do still deal with the occasional whitehead here and there. Overall, I will say that I had a good experience. I did have the basic side effects like dry skin, a dry nose, joint pain, but the worst was that I experienced the sides of my mouth were always cracked and really painful. So I could never open my mouth more than this. So if I was eating something that I need to open my mouth for and I would go like this, they would split open and start bleeding. There's a couple of things I want to mention that were the worst part of my experience, just because it was a whole experience, and there's a lot of things that definitely weren't enjoyable. So at first, I want to say that I was 21 at the time. Socializing with my girlfriends was one of the things we always did. In the summer, it's go on patio for drinks, and I couldn't have any alcohol, which, I could still have fun without alcohol, but I just felt kind of like an outcast and excluded from my friend group just because we would go out and socialize and I was there, having water, or it's just like, the atmosphere that you're in, I just didn't feel included, and that's not their fault at all. That's just my experience. And you know, like I still had a lot of fun with that while I was sober, but it just kind of gets old, and I wanted to be able to be a 21-year-old who goes out and has fun and socializes. The second thing that I didn't like about Accutane is that I looked awful without makeup and I looked awful with makeup. So I wouldn't want to go anywhere. If I didn't wear makeup, my skin was worse than it was before I started Accutane, so I was really self-conscious about it. And my lips were really gross that I just didn't even want to go out. And then when I would wear makeup on, it just kind of like sat on top of my skin and looked awful. Like I had texture, dry skin, it just like felt cakey, and it was just not a good look. So that was really annoying because I kind of just wanted to isolate myself. The third thing is that I had a lot of frustration. Like I said, it gets worse before it gets better. I don't know how many times I can repeat that because it's so true. So it was really frustrating. I kept asking myself, was it worth it? Now looking back, absolutely, but it was a frustrating process. The last thing that I really didn't like while being on Accutane is that you had to get monthly blood tests. So that was really difficult for me, not because I hate needles, but blood tests hurt for me. My veins are so small, and the nurses have to poke me about like 3 to 5 times to get a tube of blood out of me. So it was something that I was dreading to do every month. But you know what? You needed to get those blood tests to know that your body is reacting in a proper way, and that you are still healthy, and to make sure you're not pregnant. Because I just want to go over things that I would recommend if you are going on Accutane or if you are on Accutane. The first thing that's really, really important to me was to take pictures. I wish I took more than I did. If I were to redo Accutane, I would take a picture every week just to see my progress. And it's also, once you complete Accutane, you have something to look back on. You have something to compare yourself now and back then to see how far you've come. Appreciate your journey a little bit more. The second thing that I would recommend is be patient. Like I said, it's a frustrating journey, and it's not going to take a week to clear your skin with Accutane. It's really not. The third thing that I really recommend is to find products that work for you and work for your side effects. Now, you're most likely going to be really, really dry, so I really recommend Vaseline. I use Vaseline for the insides of my nose. I would put it on a Q-tip and just like swirl it on the inside of my nostrils because they were so dry that I'd have nosebleeds. I would also recommend that you get a basic face cream and body cream. So anything with no harsh ingredients, no fragrance, just something that's going to be gentle on your skin. So like I said, there's Cetaphil. There's also this one that I used for my body. It's body cream for eczema relief by Eucerin. And it worked really well and was really, really rich. So it really helped my skin. Something else that I would recommend is a humidifier. So a humidifier is great when you have it on while you're sleeping because it dampens the air so that it's not as dry. So it'll help your nose being dry, your mouth being dry. Something else that is really, really important is sunscreen. Get sunscreen with like SPF 60 because you really need it to protect your skin. You're so much more susceptible to sunburns and bad sunburns because your skin is just very sensitive to UV rays. So stay out of the sun if possible, but even then I would still apply sunscreen just because you could really damage your skin. Also, my favorite lip balms were Aquaphor, Blistex, and then I would also use Vaseline as well, like at night. I also like the Laneige lip mask. It's really good, but I would always have a lip product on me 24/7 because I would reapply that all the time because my lips were just so cracked and dry and scaly. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little insight to my acne journey. It was definitely a long one, and I didn't know if I was ever going to come up on the other end of it with clear skin. And I'm really glad that I met that doctor that one time at the walk-in clinic who told me not to accept my skin the way it is, because there are remedies out there. You just have to find the one that works for you. And even though Accutane worked for me and I had an amazing experience with it, that doesn't mean that you're gonna have the same experience that I did. So obviously, you know, talk to your doctor about it and see if it's right for you and if you're wanting to go on Accutane. But I did have a good experience with it, and I'm really happy that I did go on it. Yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to share this with you guys. I think that gives you a little bit of insight about my life. Having acne was a huge part of it. So thanks for watching, and thanks for listening to me rant about my acne journey, how I cleared my skin with Accutane, and I hope you learned something about me, about acne in general, and I hope that this was helpful for you. So if it was, please like and subscribe. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.